I love this. I love this. You know, every single day we start off with I start off with a cup of coffee and the pirate broadcast, and I just wanted to share and invite you into the room here today because we have Ian, and we're going to be talking about a little bit, probably a little bit about GPS, maybe possibly some uh, music and records, and also production of wow. Because what we're going to be talking about today is planting the seed of how you can actually make an impact and leave an image in someone's life, because it's important for us to understand that, you know, kindness is cool, and I love sharing the kindness motto and everything that goes along with it. And there are some other things that we can do. So we're going to be talking about that. So Ian, welcome to the Pirate Broadcast. You're now a pirate.
Awesome. It's an honor. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you for reaching out to me. And I know that we have a thread of history. Ian and I both grew up in Utah, and we were talking about the idea of using the tools musicians use to create and broadcast their music, and then also taking that and transferring it over into the world of podcasting, you know, and taking that. So walk us through what this would look like. We've talked about it, Ian, but I want to, for anyone watching and anybody that wants to watch the replay here, comes by and happens on this broadcast, the Pirate Broadcast, we
Right.
can, because we can really put something out there into the world that you're creating, and other people can do this, and you could probably apply it to many different applications, right? A
Yeah.
speaker, anything like that.
Right.
So walk us what your process is and what it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we make custom vinyl records for people to give as gifts, and we frame them. We put your custom logo on a sleeve. So, for example, me being a pirate, let's say that was something that was just life changing for me. I'd go ahead and I'd download your logo. I'd put it on a sleeve, and then we've got these nice either 12-inch or 7-inch frames. I could date it. You can make it as custom as you want. So that's something that ideally podcast hosts specifically, but yeah, like you said, really anyone, we want to send out as thank you gifts for them to, not only keep as something cool, but we just look at, podcasts are something that's so trendy and so new, and people really, really love podcasts. And vinyl records are kind of the cool old thing, and so we kind of mix the two of those together. And the fact that it's personalized to someone, I think really, really means a lot more than maybe some of your other classic gifts. And we've seen that in many different industries and kind of in the past of what I've worked. I really, really have a joy in making things specifically special, personalized for people. Because that's why I think it hits them the deepest, and they get the most joy out of that.
Well, is there, when you say do you press this vinyl, and is it, I mean, can I drop it on the turntable and scratch to it? Or
Yeah, yeah. So we have three different options. We have one where we just send them a blank record and a sleeve. So that's something like I put on my desk, maybe under in a cabinet, just something kind of rad and old school. And then we have another option where we'll frame them for you, but they're still blank. And then the third option, is we actually do pull the audio from the podcast, and then we can have that pressed on the record. For those of you that have records, it's funny, most of the people that we reached out to don't have record players.
Yeah.
And so they were like, I'd rather cut the cost and just give them something cool that they can hang up. So they definitely have the option. So far, it hasn't been too taken advantage of, but it really is just whatever they're looking for.
Well, I see it as really an opportunity. So I'm coming up on 100 episodes of the Pirate Broadcast.
Awesome.
So, I mean, I think it would be kind of cool to drop some audio from each of those episodes and, drop it into an album.
Right. Oh yeah. That'd be unreal.
Short tracks. I don't know. I don't know if you could do that much density. It might have to be a double. But
it is, yeah. So I think I want to say they do 10 minutes per side. So yeah, you can just kind of chip and chop whatever you want on there, and yeah, that'd be super rad. You can have it hanging up in the back, so every morning people get on the Pirate broadcast and they see that, and it's pretty special.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's a unique gift, and it's really an honor to have people on the show. And I really love and appreciate the fact that you're here today. You know, you're getting up early, you're doing you got other things going on in your world. And, the people that join me, it's some of the things that come up in these conversations are, nuggets of knowledge, and the fact that, and talk a little bit about your background and how you got to this, Ian, because that's the real juice in the story. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Where the heck did Ian come up with this? What is he doing? It's like just random. That's so random.
So I grew up in Virginia. I moved to Utah beginning of high school. Did my high school here. I went on a 2-year LDS mission in Indiana. Got back and I started working at just kind of a typical college job. And they did a little talent show there. And I was always very musically gifted. I was a big freestyler. So I love hip hop. I'm very analytical with words. We did a talent show and I freestyled for everyone. And another kid there got up and he was just a phenomenal singer. His name was Patch. He toured Europe in a band. He had offers from everywhere. He was the real deal. Mm-hmm. And so he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, I want to go down the music path. But I don't want to be like a typical musician." He's like, "I want to do something that really can change people's lives." And so I was like, "All right, what do you have in mind?" And he's like, "I think that high school kids especially, but a lot of people would really love the talent you have. So if we can get together and we can kind of speak about our talents and how we bring hope to other people's lives, I think people would really like that." And he had a big interest in public speaking. So did I. And so we kind of went down that journey. And to fund that journey, we would make personalized songs for people. So let's say it was your wedding, anniversary, birthday, whatever it was. People would send us a page of notes, and then we had a recording studio, and we would make a full song, everything from beat to chorus to lyrics, and we throw everything they said in there. And we were actually pretty efficient at it, and they loved it. Our first one was. He owns a big alarm company out here in Utah. Yeah, I think he's one of the wealthier guys in Utah. And he invited a couple friends down to one of his boats in St. George, and the producer of Nitro Circus was down there, and it's super cool. Yeah, it was awesome getting to know him, and we freestyled for him, and he loved it. And he's like, "Hey, my wife's and mine 25th anniversary is in 4 days. He's like, can you guys make something for me?" And we were like, absolutely. So we go home, we use the studio, we show up, we just give them this song that just makes them cry, brings them to tears because it's so special to them. And we're like, all right, maybe that's a one-time thing. Yeah. And then we do it again, a couple weeks later, a girl's birthday at Zupa's. We show up with a guitar in the middle of this restaurant and, start playing it, and the whole family's just in tears. And so that's when it really hit me, like, how special this is and how much you can change someone's life by showing them that they're not indifferent. And that was kind of our motto that we'd go to is the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And so if you really, really think about that, if you want to show someone that you care about them, show them that they're unique and they're special and they mean something to you. And we just thought about like the generics, like on a birthday card is only so special just because there's a million of them in the world. And people really gravitate. Yeah, exactly. People really, really gravitate towards that. So it was unique because we were both using our skills and our talents in such a unique way that, we definitely blessed a lot of lives. And so Patch ended up getting an offer from the church to go around, and he opens up for kind of like a speaking group there, which is fantastic for him. I'm super happy that he's doing that, and I'm super happy for the time that we had. Mm-hmm. But I just really looked at, what are my strengths and weaknesses? What am I passionate about? And I've always been passionate about creating. And through Patch and Holly, I became really passionate about showing people that they're personalized and that they matter. Yeah. And so for Christmas, my wife got me a vinyl record player. And I just thought it was the coolest thing I ever held. So it was J. Cole's album, just as classic. And I was just dumbfounded. I was like, this is really neat. And so I just kind of, put my head to it, and I was like, what industry is really, really doing awesome right now that could use something like this? And the first thing I thought of was podcast. Just, how many people are doing it as a hobby, that it's slowly turning into profitable, then slowly turning into a career. And, they just like any kind of other business ethic decision, thank you gifts or milestones are a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just want to be, top quality, highest notch, rad gift that kind of personalizes you as, this is professional, but this also is really like unique and awesome. And it's been such a cool learning experience, just coming from, I'd never done, I guess you can call it hardware.
Yeah.
But like figuring out where to get the records from, what printing press to use, frames in bulk. So it's definitely been one of the biggest learning curves ever. I'm still fairly early on in the journey. I'm doing it for about 2 months now.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic, but it's such a neat experience. And, I love nothing more than someone getting it and sending me a picture and they're just big smile on their face. And it's, it means a lot to them for sure.
Well, it's like the gold albums on the wall, and I think a lot of people, if nothing else, if you provide recognition for the individual and the opportunity that they had and the thing that you had together, it's like, okay, a coffee mug and a t-shirt's great. And
Yeah.
I do have merchandise now, because Jill Sullivan asked me over a year ago, she goes, Russ, why don't you have your kindness is cool, smiles are free? And I used to do 2-minute tips every day in 10 minutes or less.
Right. Yeah.
So all of these things make a difference because, and I want to give a shout out to Mark Pinder, because thanks for buying a shirt. It's awesome. Appreciate you, brother. But here's the thing. And you brought up a couple of things that I really want to resonate with and unpack a little bit, because Ian, you're doing something that is unique. It's not necessarily unique in itself, but it's like breaking out of the industry and adding it or enhancing it, or bringing it to a new platform. And I've been in podcasting for a while now, and broadcasting this stuff, and this platform with the Pirate Broadcast is unique in the fact that, I sent you a link, you signed up, you got scheduled, I sent you another link, and I have a team of people that help me do this, and it's pretty smooth, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was impressed.
And so the business that you're building could also enhance this. And what I was thinking about is I should probably have like an intro, like a little pirate rap song or something.
Yeah.
So something like that, because as a musician, I can appreciate that. So
yeah.
And I when I was in radio, I created my own intro and outro music, and I did that, and I use Ableton Live and Pro Tools and all those. I used to do that and edit and create audio for radio as well. So, but the reality is, people want to be special. People are special.
Yeah.
Every one of you has a gift. Everyone has a message and something that they're going to bring to the world. And so, thank you for doing what you're doing. And we'll have to talk earlier or later on down the road and see what we can do with this, because I think it would be very cool to do some of these things in a unique way and kind of brand this stuff. Because as I build this stuff out, I want to enhance and bring people like yourself into the fold and make sure that we have some other things going on. So it's really fascinating to me, and I appreciate you for being on the show today. So thank you. And I want to give, speaking of appreciation, Craig Hansen sounds classy. So there you go. Cherry Lolly, Lisa Zarcone, thank you. Good morning. Wendy, Derek Monroe from Atlanta, he's here. Hope the weather's good. Michael Ray was on yesterday. He does the Smile Project in Louisville, and amazing individual. So thank you for being on the show. Gabriel, always love you, man. Wendy, Maureen, good morning. Jordan Thomas. Hey, Jordan he would probably be another one you could connect to. He's a musician in California that's doing some good work. So he's out there
Yeah.
doing it. But let's dive down a little deeper, because I think, with kindness and recognition and some of this appreciation we have, I think it's foundational in life. And like we were talking with Michael Ray yesterday, was, if you watch the news, the only thing you could get is depressed.
Right. Yep.
And when I jump on LinkedIn, and I have so many friends and so many connections on LinkedIn, and life is pretty good, it's like, what do we have to complain about?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. So I was listening to that Smile. His name spaced me, but the episode you did yesterday, and I loved that. And
Michael Ray.
right. It's unique. So I said I did a 2-year mission, and I went to Indiana, and I was walking around Purdue campus. It's some I think he was a philosophy teacher. He stopped us and kind of started chatting, and he was like, "Do you know the Greek or Latin root for the word religion?" And I was like, "No, I don't." And he said it means tied to. So when someone asks you, like, what's your religion, they ask you, what are you tied to? So I thought that was super interesting. And so I really thought about it, and there's a religion between each relationship you have in your life. So there's a reason you and me are tied to each other, and me and my parents, me and my teachers, me and this certain individual on LinkedIn. And it's so funny. You look at how many relationships are based off of like power, money, greed, physical intimacy, or popularity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a negative feel to it. And you look at some of these other relationships that are based off of like love, compassion, kindness, the things that you really hit home, and just how much better they thrive. And so that's another thing that I'm really proud to kind of stamp my name by is, when we send something out like this, we're creating a relationship where, it's a good product, we're a good service. We want your guests to feel as special as you want them to feel. And, hopefully that translates more than just a business aspect. I look at most people I work with in my life, and that's really hits home, especially, when I do try to do business with someone, is I'm very particular about how we tied to each other. Like, is this a good experience for both of us? Am I really thinking about their best interest? I couldn't be happier about that. When he was talking about how he goes around and he smiles to people, like, now that's how he's connected to them in their life. And that's special. That's special forever. And, I think bringing a positive attitude to people's life, whether it's LinkedIn or real life, whatever it is, the more opportunities you have to push people in a positive way, I think the happier you'll be and the more benefits you'll reap kind of long term with that.
Well, love and kindness you can't run out.
Right.
Abundance, you can't run out of abundance when you're talking about, kindness, and here's the thing is there are people that will come into your life for a moment or a period of time. And like you said, the relationship you have with those individuals are there to teach a lesson. And it could be a good experience or a bad experience. It's just an experience. If you talk about Stoic philosophy and you talk about philosophy in general, there's a lot of these ideas that it's like, it's just an experience.
Right.
Take the lesson, learn from it, enhance your life as a result of that experience, and know that you're a better person. You're a unique individual that has a journey, and you're on your journey, love the journey, love the experience.
Yeah.
You wake up some days, especially being an entrepreneur and a business owner, it's like some days you wake up and you're thinking, this is so awesome. And then you're going, crap, what the heck am I doing? And it's like you just have to live with that. Just breathe it in and know that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah. No, I love that. And the two things that I'd say to that, it's it's funny, you talk about people's journey, and people in your life are kind of like a short time or a long time. One of my favorite books, I wish I could remember the author's name. It's early over here, but it's called A Refrigerator Writes, and he was a comedian that was kind of on the uphill in his career. And so he was kind of chasing the dream. So he was moving from state to state to state. And he's like, it's so funny. Every time I would move up in my career, I thought I would become happier. And then I'd move. And he's like, and then I was miserable. And then I'd kind of do the whole gig there. And then I'd move, think I'd be happier. And I was miserable. And he said, this is kind of my conclusion. He said, we as humans are happiest when we're surrounded by people that have what he called refrigerator rights. And so let's say I walked to your house right now, Russ, and I walked in. And you and me were good enough buddies so I could walk to your fridge and open it and just, grab a soda or make a sandwich.
Yeah.
He said, when you're surrounded by people that know you on that type of level, you function better as a human. You're happier, you're more efficient. And he's like, it's so funny that for some, like most people, they don't understand that. And so he said, that was me. Like I was chasing the dream. I was alone. I didn't have anyone in my life that was like that. And I wasn't happy. And so when that made sense to him, he kind of changed the way he worked and who he worked with and who he surrounded himself with. And it just made a world of difference. And I look at it when I'm the happiest is when I do have people in my home that, they can go open the fridge and they feel comfortable. So I think that's super important. And then, one thing that I really, really, really hone on it, and I love that you said, is you talked about kind of the growing pains in anything. So we can use starting a business, but I think there's so many other circumstances in life that, you kind of have to earn your stripes. Yeah. Everyone goes through tough things. And, being a freestyler and being very analytical, there's a quote that I love. It's gotten me through so much, but I took the word hope. So I looked at HOPE and next to it, I wrote, has one person ever. And so I'd be in like these tough situations, like HOPE, has one person ever.
Yep.
And so I'd be in like these tough situations as far as like, okay, like how am I going to finish school? This mission's tough. This job is tough. Being an entrepreneur is tough. And I would sit down and I would just have to ask myself, like, has one person ever not known what they were doing and made a business, or, been successful on a sale, or made a relationship in a hard spot? And that can go deeper as far as like, has one person ever got over like abuse, neglect, rejection? And, I think it's so important that we know where we draw our hope from. And so I really appreciate other entrepreneurs that kind of started in the mud, maybe not exactly knowing what they're doing, and really becoming successful out of that. Because when I sit there, I go, okay, like this is possible. And I don't think they know like how much that means to people like me. But more importantly, kind of the flip side of the coin is you also need to realize that you can give hope to so many other people. And what I mean by that is, I listened to a couple of your podcasts, and I was actually extremely impressed with your guests and with the conversation and with how it went. For the size of podcast that you are. And so that really gave me a lot of hope that, like, you know what, like, we can do important things and we can do good things, and we don't need to be a Joe Rogan or a Gary Vee to really like change someone's life.
No.
And so, yeah. And so that, it changed my whole persona and perspective on, the podcast industry and how we create relationships online with people, which essentially is not just as important, but it's pretty important. And, I just love that. And so that's a big takeaway that, I hope people get is know where they draw their hope from, but also know that they're giving so many people hope. And just kind of keep that on your back. I mean, that'll get you through a lot, just knowing that you're helping other people.
Well, and you brought it out, and I think it's really important for us to understand is the idea and the concept that you can make an impact. It doesn't have to be world shattering. It doesn't have to be universal. It's not going to Mars here.
Right.
However, if someone comes in here like Kenyatta Turner or Jennifer, good morning. These people are looking at this as an opportunity, to open up their day. And I have the gift of being able to share some conversation with somebody like yourself. I mean, did this cost anything for you to jump on?
Absolutely not. Maybe a couple yawns later on in the day, but other than that, is free.
Smiles are free. And so is the pirate broadcast. And so what it does, though, is it allows a community to start to develop. The refrigerator friends, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of people that I've met on LinkedIn that I haven't met in person. However, if you ever come over, you're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine is yours.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, and when we bring up words and everything, I think it's really important for us to understand the meaning of some of these words make a huge impact on our life, and words matter, and how we speak to not only ourselves but to other people are really impactful. It's really important for us to understand this. One of the best classes one of the classes I found so fascinating in college was the origins of Greek and Latin words, where words came from. Yeah. And, talking about words, and I love the acronym HOPE, has, what is it?
Has one person ever,
Has
HOPE.
one person ever
done
this. So, and the other part of that is why. You could say, why me? Or you could say, why not me? Right? It's like, why not me? I have as much gift and, ability and everything else that goes into it. And I think it's a lot of it, like what you're doing in your journey right now. It's the decision you make, because when you make a decision, that allows you to create a focus. And when you have focus, you could spend your energy and effort into a single, has one person ever done. And so crafting that idea and that concept and talking to yourself about the idea that you can do this, you will do this, and it's something unique and individual, and the world needs this. And if you believe that, you're going to go out and create it. It's already created.
Absolutely. And I love, you talk about words, and it's funny. I think that is, I do my fair share of research on podcast hosts. And I feel like every podcast you listen to, you can pull something out of it 100%. You can find some type of value, something that you can really apply and change your life. But it's funny, some shows, it's kind of like cracking open like a turtle shell. And then others, it's kind of like cracking open an egg. And I think that's all based off of how, like you said, the words you use and the conversations you push each other towards. And, I think if you can do that in your own skill, for example, like I hope that when I explain to people how important it is to treat them unique, celebrate your wins in a specific way, and also do it in like the raddest way possible as far as vinyl records. I hope it's them that kind of breaks the egg, but I want to make that as soft as possible. And I think, you do a very good job at that. And a lot of other podcast hosts do very well at making it so it's easy for people to really dive in and pull value out of this.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that I'll look back and, like you said, it's a great step for the journey. It gives me a lot of inspiration. I hope it gives a lot of other people inspiration. And you can do anything you put your mind to, especially when you know what you're good at, and what you're bad at, and what you're passionate about. I want to wake up and I want to be put in a room with 1 million people, and I want to be the best at what I do out of those 1 million people. And it's hard to find. That's a lot of odds there, but I think I'm definitely down the right path.
Well, you're already unique in the individual, so we're all so unique and special that it's sometimes difficult for us in today's society to own the gifts that we have, because we're trying and attempting to be someone that fits in, right?
All right, puzzle piece, yeah.
Isn't that a dilemma? It's a dilemma for life. And
absolutely.
It's really fascinating. So we didn't get much into the GPS here.
That's okay. Yeah.
So, however, I'm kind of fascinated with autonomous driving and the industry and some of that thing. So we'll probably have to have another episode sometime.
Love it. Yeah.
About that. But, and being a musician and, we could go down a whole hip hop conversation as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reality is that we all have abundance in our lives in certain ways. And I just want to make sure that when you wake up, if you have an opportunity to share the Pirate broadcast, the abundance in your life today is that you have a positive outlook. You have an opportunity to go out and make some impact in someone's life today. Open a door, say thank you, compliment somebody on what they're wearing or what they're doing, and support each other as humans, and make sure that you go out there and make it matter, because we're all here to matter. We all have a gift. We all have a message that we can share. So, Ian, I really appreciate the fact that you're here. And so what's the next 6 months in the journey look like for you? And what do you want to leave us with today?
Yeah, absolutely. So next 6 months, really just want to focus down on the client and the customer. I think I've kind of found my distributors for the records, the printing press, and the frames. So I think I'm to the point now where I can start kind of mass producing these, and then just getting out there and really focusing on what people want and giving them not only a really really unique, super cool gift, but also a high quality gift. And so the sky's the limit there. Like you said, there's so many industries, like YouTube influencers, speakers, whatever it is. And so it's really going to be figuring out what fits best and what people like. But, I love it. And journey's good. And then what I just want to leave people with is kind of what I said before. I really, really want them to kind of internalize this, but just know that, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And so show someone that they're not indifferent. And like you said, whether that's a smile, holding the door open, writing a thank you note. I'm 24, so I've had 24 Christmases with my awesome mother, and I think her favorite gift I ever got her was just a bowl of nice things I wrote about her. And we've gotten her some nice gifts, but you don't know how much people love being recognized, and you also know how much people need it. And so just keep your eyes open, show someone they're special, and it's been awesome today.
Well, Ian, as always, thank you for being a pirate, and know that you have an impact on the world. And as I always say, kindness is cool.
Right.
Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day.
Thank you.
Take care.